yeah. So what was your goal? Just always to be the best bull rider you could be, or did you want to be the legendary JB? Like to
Yeah.
be the best, to be the man. What was your goal?
Well, it was just most of it was to prove to myself I could do it.
Okay.
You know the way. That's what there was a lot of times once I got in the PBR, they were always like, "Well, he's cocky," and
Hmm.
I always told people, I said, "There's a difference in cocky and confident, but
Yeah.
there's a fine line."
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I said, "You can cross it sometimes." I said, "But I never told anyone I was going to ride any bull, but I expected myself to."
Hmm.
And I said that, and I've said it all along. I said you have to have a little bit of pride to yourself to be a great bull rider. You have to think you're a little bit better than everyone else.
Right.
And so when they'd show up with a bull, they said, "Oh, nobody can ride this one." And I was like, "Let's see about that."
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really say it a whole lot, but that was the one I was going to pick,
Right.
and everyone else knew it.
Yeah.
And so the way they do the short rounds at those PBRs, it was a draft situation. So whoever was sitting first got the first pick out of all the bulls, and then it went down from there. And they would always ask me, I said, "Jebby, what are you picking?" I said, whatever they leave me." I said, "It don't really matter to me. They'll leave what I want." Because the
You
guys that
shy
were
away from the.
the guys that were sitting at the top, they were going to pick bulls
Yeah.
they knew they could ride that
Hmm.
fit them, and I wanted the one nobody else wanted,
Right.
just to prove to myself I could ride him.
Hmm.
And then it kind of evolved to what it was. And one bull, Bushwhacker, I ended up attempting to ride him 13 times,
Yeah.
and only one time rode him once. But I kept, anytime I had the chance to pick, whether I was sitting first, fifth, I picked him. And somebody said, "Man, looking back now, do you wish you would have went about it a little different?" Because he cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I
But
said, "Nope." I said, "Because I did it the way I wanted to." And eventually I got that little check mark beside my name. He got 12 of them, but I had the
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just, I always figured if I wanted to be the best, I had to get on the best bulls
Yeah.
going. So,
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that, but don't do that.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
everybody, it's easy to say the right things. It's easy to say the words you're supposed to say. But as you said, like, then that somehow magically they end up on another bull.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah. A lot of them talk the talk, but don't walk the walk.
right. I was curious too, because I've been in bow hunting. It's obviously different, but I was like on such a roll. I think I killed 9 bulls in a row. With killing a bull is hard with the bow. And, 9 shots in a row, 9 bulls in a row. Perfect. And I was like, I got this. I got this. This is, I did it. I was like starting to believe my own success. And it's like, and then I got my ass humbled.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and so did you ever have a moment like that where you're like, because there's something super fun when you watch like all sports or whatever, when somebody's like really believes in themselves and they're just like talking all the magic and you're just like, and then they back it up.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Did
Yeah.
you ever get almost tricked into like wanting to be cocky?
Yeah. I rode a bunch of bulls, was doing good. And then, of course, the hype the cameras would put around you, they were always following you around, things like that. Always.
And they
And
want sound bites.
oh, yeah. And then, that's bull riding is one of the most humbling sports because one day you're the windshield and the next day you're the bug.
Right.
And so it didn't last very long. I
Hmm.
mean, you can get pretty cocky riding bulls when you're on a hot streak, and then that light switch will flip, and it seems like you can't do anything right.
Right.
And so I try not to just take it with a grain of salt. I, it's hard to young guys now. Like a couple of them we got on our team now, they were like, "Man, I really don't like doing those interviews and stuff." I said, "Well, you better get used to it now."
Hmm.
But that's part of being mentally tough is being able to cut it on and cut it off.
Yeah.
Because I could go do interviews and then go to the bull riding that night and be fine. And I said, you have to be able to, you know, cut it off, turn it on, things like that. But yeah, there was a couple of times I thought, oh man, I've got it.
Hmm.
And then I would just get my ass handed to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, never mind, go back to the drawing board. And I've told a lot of guys that, you know, uh, he can tell you, this generation's a little different than when I came around. I got on a lot of practice bulls constantly. Now they hardly don't want to get on at all.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't want to get hurt or what?
well, I don't know if it's that, or they almost seem like they're, they take everything for granted, like it's almost just handed to them. And I've told them all, I said, the day you quit working at riding bulls is the day you never get any better than you are right now.
Are they just focused more on that athlete side of it and not the cowboy side of it? Is that
It's changing a lot.
Do you think that, JB, like, I think there's a lot of people that, same thing with like UFC fighters and actual fighting, with working out, with riding bulls. Like, there's a lot of people that like to they like to say they have ridden bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like Cowboy Cerrone, my friend, he likes to actually fight.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that like to have said they fought.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that like to say, things about their fitness and say things about maybe even hunting, but bull riding too. Like, I feel like there's a lot more people out there that like the idea of bull riding, but just the actual bull ride, they may not like.
Tough Hedeman said it best. He told me one day, he said, they all want to be bull riders till it's time to be a bull rider.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's hitting the nail on the head right there. They all want to talk about it and take a picture for their girlfriends or social media, but then when there's no cameras or around or anything, how much work are they putting in?
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it.
I mean, it's even fewer people that will run a 257-mile race. There's probably a lot of people that like the idea of running a marathon, much less an ultra marathon, much less 2.5 times a normal ultra marathon.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's
the mountain, just like the bull, will weed them out.
Oh yeah, mountains, bulls, they don't lie.
Yeah,
they don't lie. You can say, and we are really good to talking tough, building ourselves up, having all these amazing stories. And what I've always said is like, I mean, I hear you. Show me.
Yeah.
I hear all saying that's great. I want to see it. So that's like, to line up for that race is like, yeah, I work out every day. I do all this stuff. We got the book says it undeniable. But when it came time to stand on that starting line and run for 3.5 days, could I do that or not? Or was I just saying it?
3.5 days.
So it's like, but I think that's what's beautiful about life is we have these opportunities that we can prove ourselves. We can prove, you say you're better than me, prove it.
Yeah.
And I like that.
The way you started that question with JB, was it him against him or him against, how do you feel in your walk towards, well, I guess, because you're in races. They're actual races.
Mm-hmm.
So like and you're riding bulls against other bull riders. How do you approach the game? Is it something against you, or do you find yourself competing with other men in the industry?
I think it's your own brain. It's like, because when I think of a bull rider, just, it's like so much confidence walking around, just like, you can see a bull rider. If I've been to plenty of rodeo, and you can just see, it's like, you have to have that. You have to have that attitude, but you don't know what they're thinking because you see the body language, but in your brain, because I've walked around and be like, people would probably think that, oh man, he's like puts in so much training. He's definitely ready. In my brain, I'm like, I'm going to get my ass kicked. This is like, what am I doing? I am a fraud. People are going to find out I am a fake. Yeah. But you'd look at me and think that, man, I wish I could be that guy. No, you don't, because I don't believe in myself half the time. So it's like, you need these tests just to prove you are who you say you are. That's what I like. So a lot of people avoid those tests though, because they actually don't want to find out that answer.